Filthy Animals is an ecology podcast for adults. Episodes may contain strong language and graphic depictions of natural phenomena. A more detailed list of content warnings is included in the episode description.
Welcome to Filthy Animals, a sex, drugs, and ecology podcast where science educators talk about adult activities of the natural world. Every month, we'll expose you to the latest research on topics your high school science teacher was too embarrassed to talk about. I'm Rachel.
I'm Allan.
And I'm Nicole. And happy April Fools, almost. And we're doing a special episode where we'll kind of, all join together to take a little bit of the topic. We always like these episodes, and it seems like you guys do too. This time we'll be talking about different kinds of courtship rituals in the natural world. And we'll start with our most dangerous ones and then talk about our favorite, most obnoxious courtship rituals.
Yes, and of course the goal of this exercise is to determine unequivocally which are the most dangerous and most obnoxious possible. We will be ranking our choices after debating them.
Yes.
That's part of the scientific process.
Of course.
Yes.
I named this episode in my notes, Ranking Love for Levity.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
I'm going to talk about something that's very not lovely,
Me
first
too.
of all. So.
I mean, yeah.
Ooh. Does anyone want to go first? Can I go first?
Sure. You seem really eager.
Do I?
Yeah. So we each have
Excellent.
one dangerous courtship ritual,
Yes.
and I'm eager to hear what yours is.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to say that this is as dangerous as it gets, I think, mine.
Okay.
Okay. The animal that I selected for my most dangerous courtship ritual is the Australian redback spider.
Oh, sorry. One of my favorite songs is about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I thought about that a whole lot while I was researching this. Yes, the redback. Were the redback on my toilet seat? What was it called? Yeah.
Redback on my toilet seat.
Oh, boy. Yeah. That's a... God, boy. Yeah. Sorry, just the thought of... these are highly medically significant spiders, as are a lot of them in Australia. Definitely not one you want to get bit by. So, but you know what? That plays a little bit of a role in their courtship.
The deadliness.
Yeah, it sure does.
Superb.
Okay, so as you may know, dear listener, with spiders, there is always a little bit of a risk of sexual cannibalism. This is a risk that's less frequent in some species than we believe, like with the black widow, for example. It's not as common in the wild. They're obviously named for their penchant for killing their partner, but that's a behavior that's more observed in captivity than in the wild necessarily. But it's relatively common in others. The redback spider is one such example of that because this is a spider species that has extreme sexual size dimorphism. Okay, that's what really influences how likely is a female spider to just go ahead and crunch on their prospective mates. So when a female is many, many times larger than the male, which in this species is quite extreme. A male redback spider is only about 1% to 2% of the mass of a female.
Jeez.
They're little guys. They're little itty bitty guys. So the males need to tread very carefully in these situations, males of these kinds of species, to avoid accidentally stoking a predatory response from the mate. They'll do lots of little vibrations and like and little plucks and little like, hey, I'm here. Just letting you know, I'm moving in.
I'm a full-grown man.
That's
despite
right.
what the appearance is made.
Yes,
That's
I am.
right. I'm a great big man and I'm ready for you. And they do that to avoid getting devoured. But with the Australian male redback spider, okay, it may surprise you to know that many male spiders do not want to be eaten.
What?
But this one, well, there may actually be some benefit to them getting devoured. So as an adaptive behavior, we're talking about sexual suicide here. Basically, this spider, they whip up a little spermy web. Okay, they put it on their pedipalps, which are those two little things by the face. They're very club-like in male spiders. And then they kind of like, sashay up to the female. And if the female is receptive, they'll kind of plug in. Okay,
You're making it sound so sexy. Plug in.
They do. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna stick one pedipalp in, and it reminds me. It's like a lock and key thing, right? So
Your
it's like,
pantomime was very like I'm piloting a mech.
Yes.
yeah, that's what
was.
it reminds me of. Like in like sci-fi things when it's like we have a dual entry system, turn keys at the same time, chunk. Like it's like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But they don't do it at the same time necessarily. They usually get one then the other. Anyway.
Oh well.
That's just a little detail. But, okay, this spider then does an unusual behavior where they will somersault. Okay, so this is a species that's related to a black widow. So you have to imagine the female is going to be hanging upside down on the web. The male is going to come over the top of the web. Okay, plug in. All right, then do a little handstand, flop over so that his abdomen is resting directly against the jaws of the female. They call it a copulatory somersault. It is a behavior that's not observed in any other species of Latrodectus. So anything else that's in that black widow family of spiders. And they just set their juicy abdomen right on top of the female's mouth parts. And this behavior results in the male being consumed 65% of the time in wild pairings.
Okay.
So why? What benefit is there to willingly, again, spiders try to be careful. There's usually, we want to avoid getting killed, right? So we can mate more. Yes. This spider though is like, well, one time is enough. Okay. What's the benefit to getting eaten then?
She's occupied, so you can just keep on like.
Rachel?
Yeah.
That's exactly correct.
Knew it.
It does have to do with the amount of time that is spent copulating. So the studies found that if the spider allowed the mate to snack on himself, okay, thus precluding future mating attempts. That they could actually copulate for significantly longer. The median copulation time went from 11 minutes to 25 minutes.
Oh.
And that actually increased because this is a species that will sometimes mate with up to two males. They might double mate and have mixed paternity in their eggs. If they double the mating time, they had over twice the paternity in that egg sac.
Oh.
So they're getting more of their genes in. Also, it was observed that females who cannibalized the first male were more likely to actually just reject another suitor. Because they might have up to 6 little dudes on their web being like, hey, what's up? But if the first one is like, I'll let you kill me and eat me, then she's like, all right, cool. I guess I'm good then. You guys can take off. Okay. So that is, again, highly, highly dangerous, obviously. Kills them 65% of the time, but pays off in the end. So doing that last little bit of effort, okay, getting eaten is actually worth the loss to them. A very unusual adaptive behavior there. And I have, God, there's more. I feel like, have I gone for 5 minutes? I probably have. Yeah, definitely. So I could go on, but I won't. I will say though that arachnid courtship and mating is something that I think we need to discuss in more detail another time, because it is such a weird and diverse thing. It ranges from cute to absurd to terrifying.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll be talking about that more. But that's my nominee for most dangerous.
Beautiful.
Redback spider.
Thanks, Allan. Yeah. Great.
Incredible.
And as we continue debating, maybe there will be opportunities for you to interject with some things you didn't get to share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I add, because you're not doing insect, right?
No.
Okay. I stumbled across redbacks, didn't actually read about them that much in depth. But then I found that there was grasshoppers that do a very similar tactic where the males will willingly let the females eat their wings.
Oh, no. Okay.
Oh,
Because it gives her a little snack and increases copulation time. So, yeah.
Well,
Wild.
girls got to eat.
insane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Masochism Tango Grasshopper Edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree that we need to have like a spider episode because I have like 3 or 4 little spider like notes that I've found over the years. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
There's some weird ones out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you want to go next?
Sure.
I want to go last since I have a non-invert.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Surprising no one. I did insects for both of mine, most dangerous and most obnoxious. And my most dangerous pick is something that I think that us 3 are all familiar with, but I found some extra information on it that I thought was fun, and I can never tell the weird things that we know if other people know them, so I thought it was worth covering. But yes, imagine, if you would, a little bug gliding peacefully across the water, its fine hairs on long stilted legs, letting it just skate using water tension. And this insect, a small water strider, will occasionally vibrate the surface of the water. They're using this to communicate with other water striders, sometimes to like fend off rivals, to defend like a really good hunting spot, things like that. And the taps can be really, really soft on the water, or they can be like much harsher as they're communicating with each other. The male, as he spots a female, will glide over to her and climb up on her back. And as he's doing this, he is tapping away at the water. And for some species, this gentle tapping is thought to be a courtship ritual. But of course, that is not the case for all of them. Are you guys are familiar with water striders? No? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you
Let me cook.
let you cook here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seemed like you were like grinning a little bit. But like I said, in some species, it's a dance to woo her. But in other species, the taps that the male sends out cause really, like, they're very aggressive. They are large, attention-grabbing ripples in the water. And these very small insects are very commonly preyed upon by fish, by other insects. One of their most common predators is called a backswimmer, which is another small insect that hunts from underneath the water. And so it's like, why is he doing this? Why is he causing such a fuss? Is he like that desperate to get laid? He's just really dancing just as hard as he can. And semi-recently, there have been a lot of people looking into this, and the common hypothesis is that no, he is not trying to just dance really hard. He is actually threatening the female with the threat of predation so that she mates with him.
What?
Yes.
Oof.
Of course, making all this fuss is not without risk to himself. But being on top of her does keep him somewhat safe, especially when we're talking about things like backswimmers that are going to be attacking from underneath. It'll usually just get the female and the male just swims away.
That's so messed up.
That's
so
terrible.
messed up. And one of the reasons why we think that this is the correct hypothesis is that in lab settings, it was found that the male water striders, why can't I say striders? In lab settings, it was found that male water striders will actually tap faster when in the presence of backswimmers.
Oh.
So, yeah, like, because it's been debated, like, you know, some of them definitely seems to be more of a courtship ritual, but like, why are these specific species, you know, just going ham? I will say that the female isn't totally helpless in this situation. She's really good at just like bucking him off. And she ultimately does have choice because she has an impenetrable genital shield, which caps her reproductive system. So there's like a reproductive arms race in these like couple species where it's like the female constantly being like, no, and the male being like, but like, come on. Which just happens a lot in the animal world. But yeah, I think it's fun to look at it in the insect world because there's a lot of weird stuff happening in insects that really aren't talked about that often. But yeah, ultimately the two just kind of flit across the water together, kind of trying to wait each other out. And yeah, again, it's kind of like risking it all in order to try to pass on your genes and actively, you know, attracting the attention of predators, which is quite a choice. But yeah.
Yeah, that is I was as you were describing it, I was like, there's so many ways this could go wrong, just loudly and aggressively announcing your presence on the surface of water when you're a very edible little bug. Yeah.
It's bringing the attention of birds and all sorts of predators, like not just the backswimmers.
Right. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Number 1, is he just doing it around females or like to get them to come over and get them to shut up? Or is he like attempting to mount them and then tapping?
So it's when he has already mounted her is when he'll be most aggressive with his taps. So he's like, I am on top of you. We are one target right now. I'm going to tap this water like crazy. I saw a video where like the tapping was so intense that it caused a little like tidal wave and the pair of them like flipped over.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane.
Okay. It's like knock, knock, open up or I'm taking us both out.
Yes. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
How often does this actually result in death though?
Not that often because...
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just saying, is it really that dangerous then? Oh, sorry.
Well, because she gives up, but like it's like either like relent or we're both dying. So I mean, yeah.
It kind of sounds like they're playing chicken.
I mean, so is the spider.
But like 65% of the time he dies.
I mean, I don't have stats. They're so small.
I see.
Still dangerous though. Still a fraught situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially an area for more research. We really do need the stats to fully weigh the danger of this situation.
It's true. More research is needed. Yeah.
But yeah, the male, from what I was reading, like really, like he won't just leave. Either she bucks him off or they mate. Like he'll just stick around until something happens.
Oh my God.
So,
or die trying.
Yeah. Basically. And I learned a new new vocab word when I was researching these guys. Neuston. Have you heard that word before?
How do you spell it?
Neuston.
No, I've never heard that word.
No.
Okay. So that is the word for organisms that live at the surface of the water, whether that's on top like a water strider, underneath like a backswimmer, or even microorganisms that exist in the surface microlayer, like between like the surface of the water.
Oh,
wow.
Weird. Okay.
So yeah. And then I got into some ocean stuff and who cares about the ocean? But yeah, Neuston.
So just that small, like just the interface between water and air.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I love there's a word for everything.
Yeah, there really is.
How neat. Well, thanks, Nicole. So far, I have to say, I think that the spider situation might be more dangerous. I don't know. I'm willing to listen to arguments about which is more dangerous. I definitely think mine is the most dangerous, though.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you're so confident.
One moment. Oh, I'm pretty confident. Okay. When frogs are breeding, they tend to have one of 2 strategies. They fall into 2 categories. One is the sitters. They sit around, they croak, they wait for a lady to come to them. Mm-hmm. The others are scramblers.
Okay.
They scramble around in a mad dash to jump on a lady as fast as possible.
Okay.
My pick for most dangerous animal is an explosive breeding frog. And these explosive breeding frogs, specifically the European common frog or grass frog,
Okay.
have an extremely dangerous scrambling orgy that results in a huge amount of death.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Okay.
I'm sure you're going to tell us what explosive breeding exactly means.
Right. So basically it means that they have a giant orgy and that they're scrambling everywhere trying to have sex.
Okay.
It's pretty common in explosive breeding frogs. This is important, that there is a huge disparity in the gender ratios. And there is a lot more males than females.
Yeah.
Potentially because it's very dangerous. Yeah. So the males vastly outnumber the females. In the common frog, they will be so desperate to mate that they'll grab hold of like anything that's in front of them. Of course, in frogs, the breeding process is like a hug where the male like hugs the back of the female and she squirts out eggs and he squirts out sperm and they go and then they make babies. Cool. So they will grab other males. They'll grab other species of frog or toad. One researcher observed a male latched onto a fire salamander once, which is bright orange, very, very much not a female frog. And also often multiple males will pile onto a female, one female. And this mating ball in the water, mind you, can seriously injure the female or drown her and also the males.
Dang.
I have a picture of a frog here that's just given up on life.
God.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what exactly is going on there. It's just a
mating ball.
A mating ball, yeah. It's a pile of limbs.
It is a mating ball indeed. So explosive breeding in general is considered pretty deadly in frogs. Way back in the year 2000, which was 25 years ago, may I add, biologists picked through the territory of a 2-day breeding frenzy of wood frogs in Arkansas, which has a very similar mode of breeding to the common frog. And they collected 140 dead frogs. Obviously, this doesn't include the ones that were eaten,
Sure.
just corpses. Some may have died because of injuries from birds, but, quote, the significance of death stemming from mating balls is the likely cause of death and cannot be overemphasized, unquote.
Dang.
The cause of mortality in most of these frogs, abdominal crushing, weakening, drowning.
All right.
They also found 4 gravid females, meaning they had not laid eggs yet. They lost their reproductive potential. They were dead. 4 dead gravid females that were still grasped by live males that were swimming around with their corpses.
Jesus.
These desperate males are just waiting for the release of eggs that will never come because she's dead. And sometimes their energy stores become exhausted until they too are dragged under the water and drown. They literally observed pairs dead in amplexus, aka sex hug, likely drowned.
Dang.
Yeah. There are also symptoms pointing to the perceived danger by these animals. Because I will note, in the both cases I think you guys gave, the animals don't really seem to mind that it's dangerous. Like the males in Nicole's little water striders, they don't care. They're just like, bah, 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 who cares?
I mean, the females definitely care.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yes, I will give you that. So in that case,
Very dangerous for the female.
very dangerous for them. In Allan's case, the males are just like willingly doing it. They don't seem to mind that their death is coming.
True.
Well, there could be a counterpoint to that also. But
Okay, well, in female common frogs, at least, and probably other explosive breeding frogs, they have literally adapted strategies to survive their courtship. The females do get to reject or do their best to reject some of this mating attempt.
okay.
They observe researchers observed with video analysis maneuvers to slip out of his grasp. Females going stiff and immobile. This is death feigning or tonic immobility, to use the non-anthropomorphizing language, which hopefully gets males to lose interest, although, as we know, they don't always care.
Not always a deal breaker.
Yes. But they'll also use sound mimicry. They will mimic the release call of male frogs, which, I mean, as I described, that happens fairly commonly, you know, that they'll grab onto a male and they'll go, meh. And so the females will do the same thing, and they'll just be like, "Man, I'm a dude, get off me!" And they'll be like, "Oh no, shit!" And so they can get unwanted suitors to back off. Some of my favorite notes from this was that the rotation maneuver that they do sometimes dunks males underwater so that she's the only one who can breathe.
Smart.
Nice.
Pretty nice. In this study, 83% of amplexed females did a rotation of self-defense in this way.
Okay.
48% of those also did a male-style mimic release call. And tonic immobility occurred in 33% of all clasped females. And that was especially used by the smaller ones who maybe couldn't dunk the male underwater.
Yeah.
Or like self-defense twist out of his grasp.
So what is the benefit of explosive breeding then if they have to adapt ways to survive it? Like what's the benefit of explosive breeding? Like, is it just because it's fast? Because it's a low time investment? It's
Probably.
like, everybody get in there, let's do it.
Also, what's kind of silly about this entire thing is that they are literally just dumping eggs and sperm into the water. So you do get drift from stray sperm just coming into the eggs. So I guess what they're really trying to do is get their sperm as close as possible to the unfertilized eggs and just dump it out. And I don't know. It's probably also beneficial because if you're attracting a lot of attention with like a 2-day orgy, maybe predators that are nearby, especially bird predators, will be overwhelmed and distracted. And like just by sheer numbers, maybe you'll survive.
Yeah.
True, a little diffusion of risk there. Yeah, if you're a giant ball of frogs banging each other, they can't possibly eat all of you.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. There was also in this study one clip of a female on land getting dragged around in a state of tonic immobility with her legs stretched out, like just like rigid and like stiff. And the researchers were like, this was really disconcerting to witness because like on land, he's like dragging her corpse looking body around. And then once he lost interest and left, she recovered and hopped away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
She's just like, I'm gonna get him to leave me alone. Because again, like he can't mate with her. The eggs are inside her. Yeah. Anyway, in conclusion, the risk of a few days of frenzied, desperate males crushing and drowning their mates is so high that 1/3 of the females might go stiff and lifeless to get out of the courtship and still might die because the males are so addled with sex hormones that they might let themselves drown by dragging around the corpse of their lover to exhaustion or become crushed by the frenzy of their fellow males.
Okay. You know, when you said explosive breeding, I was hoping it had something to do with like just genital detonation, but
Here's something really sad.
it's actually worse. Yeah.
Sometimes the grasping of the males is described as being so strong that they hypothesized that some of the explosion of eggs out of dead females might have been because of like abdominal wall obstruction, like just bursting out of their abdomens.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty grim.
So there might be some literal explosive breeding. Couldn't verify that fact. But
Sure.
Okay. Well,
if you hug her hard enough, her abdomen might rupture and eggs might come out that you can fertilize.
wow.
We're going to need a lot of content warnings in
That's
this
what I was
episode.
thinking. I was like, man, there's just a laundry list of content warnings here. This is very dark.
Yeah.
Wow, Rachel, that was a horrifying addition to this debate.
Thank you. I think I win.
Well, you can't just declare yourself the winner.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
The females don't have any risk in yours.
That's only because, I mean, to think about it from the male perspective, though, okay?
Yeah, we do that enough. We don't need to do that now.
Oh my gosh.
Get him.
All I'm saying is if you're trying to mate with a partner that is 100 times larger than you and then jumping into their mouth as part of it,
Yeah.
which is definitely somebody's fetish, but
I mean, yeah, it is.
but for them it's life or death. And actually
A death which they willingly go into.
now a counterpoint to this being willing though, okay, a study in 2016 noticed that these spiders do actually try to circumvent getting eaten if they can. A 2016 study found that males will make it a point to try and find an immature female in her final instar. Okay, so this is a female who's about to do a last molt into a fully grown adult. They do not have their copulatory organs exposed yet until after that final molt. Okay. They will try to find one in that specific window before they're about to molt so they can pierce the exoskeleton, reach the copulatory organ, and deposit their sperm. Those were, in those cases, those males don't get eaten because the female's preparing to molt, and they get away to mate again. So they do try to avoid getting eaten if they can.
Yeah.
This is something so common that they found that a third of immature females collected during this study were already fertilized.
That's insane.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Not very dangerous, though.
It is, though, because because you have to hit that exact brief developmental window.
Yeah.
If you get there too early, okay, the immature female is just going to murder you. If you get there too late, there's a 65% chance the female is going to murder you when you mate like normal. So, it's still very dangerous. But they're trying to not get killed.
Have they considered not somersaulting into the female's mouth?
Well, have the frogs considered not drowning each other while committing necrophilia?
There are spiders that do give their much larger, sex partners gifts so they can eat that instead of their bodies.
Which is a lot smarter, yeah.
It is a lot smarter.
Yeah, for sure.
What greater gift is there than your own flesh?
I mean, nothing, I guess.
Ooh, this season's off to a wild start already. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We thought this would be a happy, goofy one.
It's about to get more goofy. It was
true.
your choice
You're right.
to start with the dangerous ones.
You're right. We'll go into the goofy palate cleanser now.
No.
We got to rank
We got to
first.
rank them. Also,
All
we
right.
haven't talked about Nicole's thoroughly yet, I feel like.
You're right.
And I think it's worth pointing out that it is a very real threat with very real danger. And the male does seem like he's willing to sacrifice them both and also definitely her.
Yeah. Definitely her. I'm sure that I read at some point stats on how often the female dies, but I don't know what they are off the top of my head. But yeah, he'll let a backswimmer take her. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's pretty toxic.
Yeah, it is pretty toxic. Yeah, absolutely. He'll strum faster when danger approaches.
Yeah, all three of these are really
pretty
quite
bad.
toxic.
Yeah.
But and Nicole's also has the additional risk of, since they're mating on the surface of the water, they could be crushed by a ball of frogs at any moment.
True. Very true.
So it's another layer.
Only for maybe 4 days.
Still happen.
So many dangers.
All right.
I think without the stats, though, it's hard to say with any certainty how dangerous that activity really is.
I mean, 100% fatal for her if she doesn't relent. So
Dang.
doesn't get much worse than that.
Well, that's like saying it's 100% it's 100% fatal for the males 65% of the time. That's like what that's saying. You know what I mean? For the red bags.
I agree. Because like she's not actually going to get eaten
Uh-huh.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Yeah. True.
All these animals die 100% of the time eventually.
True. Very true.
All right. What's your ranking? I think I don't know. Since we don't, and with the lack of stats, I got to put water striders at 3.
I think your spiders are at 3 because there's no risk at all to the female.
Well, yeah,
That's a good point.
that's fair.
That is a good point.
That's fair.
There's no risk to the female. And in Nicole's, there is a chance the male will get eaten too. He just doesn't care. He's like, bone me or die.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. That persuaded me. I was gonna agree with Allan,
Dang.
but that persuaded me, Nicole. I
Thank you.
think spiders last, water striders mid, frogs first place.
I'll accept that.
Oh, okay.
I'll accept it, I guess, reluctantly.
Thank you.
If
Well, now that
if
that's
only
settled.
because it was so graphic, everything you described.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, do you want more graphic stuff? Because I have more graphic stuff on water striders.
It's too late. We've decided the rankings.
Yeah, the rankings locked in. Congrats, frogs. Be smarter? No, it's fine. It works for you.
They're doing fine. Our next category was the most obnoxious courtship.
Yes.
If you'd like, since I went last, I can go first this time.
Sure.
Okay. For the most obnoxious, I chose a bird. And specifically the golden collared mannequin. They're described as colored. Really, I think that it's more like a beard. It's got a big yellow beard that it sticks out.
yeah.
And it's like,
That's a good bird.
it's a pretty good bird. I would say more generally speaking, mannequins and overall are pretty obnoxious. I picked this specific species only because there was a lot of research done about them and also because I didn't think it was beautiful.
Okay, interesting.
Which you can't say about some birds. Some birds, it might be like kind of obnoxious, but it's like, I can appreciate the artistry here.
I'm really interested to see how you guys are defining obnoxious because I think I may have gone a very different way.
Oh boy. The reason I think that this bird is extremely obnoxious is because of this like what they call multimodal courtship, which means that this bird is using a lot of different paths to deliver courtship information. AKA, there's dance moves, there's duets, there's songs, vocalizations. There is also non-vocal sounds listed out here. Snap, snip, roll, snap, grunt. There's also mechanical sounds like wing snaps involved. So they're delivering like vibrations, weird grunts and sounds, like from like all different avenues. They're just injecting really obnoxious noises and sights and sounds at their partner, right? Okay.
Okay.
So they will do this little courtship display in a court, which is where they will like kind of build a court and then display and compete for female attention. Usually all their buddies are nearby too, in their own little individual courts that they've made. And the actual dances or the courtship display can be broken into 3 phases: the jump snap, the duo dance, and the grunt jump. All 3 phases also might be called the jump snap, the snap grunt, or the snap jump display.
Snap jump.
See,
Grunt.
As you can see, this doesn't sound especially beautiful because it's not.
Yeah.
Snapping and grunting doesn't do it for okay.
It does it for manmannequins.
Yeah,
Sure.
They're just kind of obnoxious.
I saw you taking notes. Are you adjusting your notes, Allan?
Look, I mean, I could get on board with this.
Yeah. Now, I should probably show you a video of this. I can summarize a video that I watched of one of these displays. It was a bunch of little yellow birds flying around real fast, jumping around real fast in a blur, going like it was just a lot of like really high speed sounds and nonsense.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
loud, it just carries through the jungle. But
Okay.
we can't fully appreciate it because our brains suck.
Yes.
And these are very high-speed dances. So when you film it with a high-speed camera, you get to see just how insanely fast all these dance moves and jump snaps and wing snaps and roll snaps are. For example, each display has a mean duration of 266 milliseconds.
Damn.
Yeah. There's so many stats here that don't make any sense, so I'm not going to read them all off. The jump takeoff speed is estimated at 2.3 meters per second with an acceleration of 98.63 meters per second squared, plus or minus some standard deviations, generating a force of 1.78 newtons.
Whew.
For an 18-gram mannequin. This force is 9.6 times its body weight in gravity and almost twice the takeoff force of other measured birds.
That sounds sick as hell. I don't know. You're like, oh, but it's the roll snaps are ugly. But it's like, this is like a powerful move.
It is,
This This is a powerful play.
It's really over the top. It's really powerful. I'm just saying, like, we need these terms to fully appreciate just how over the top they are, because we looking at them, we don't see that level of force involved.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
The duo dance, which is the second phase of the display where the female joins in and they like dance together, is performed even faster than jump snap displays. The jumps are 7% or 22 milliseconds faster with a female. And the female leads this dance and like push the males by jumping first most of the time. And so like it becomes this feat of just insane acrobatics, jumping around, snapping around, blah, 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 doing like crazy moves. And we believe that this is the females testing the males. So they like really get into it. It's a very intense display. And overall, the jump snap displays appear to be a choreographed routine.
Nice.
All of this chaos, it's choreography. It makes sense. And there are unique sequences of jumps that they learn and practice over time. It's also important to note that in general, in birds, songs are extremely brainy. So all of this isn't just testing their physical feats, it's also testing their little bird brains. We've known this for like 20 years already. Song complexity is linked to the heritability of big brains. And all of this stuff going on in a matter of milliseconds is intense brain activity. So while they might look real dumb, what they're actually truly selecting for is the biggest brain that can comprehend the madness going on around them.
Yeah. Nice.
In conclusion, they're extremely fast-paced, noisy, and overly not beautiful displays that are extremely obnoxious and constant, and appears to be chaos, but is in fact choreographed beauty. That makes sense to mannequins.
Rachel, I don't know if you've ever been more wrong on this podcast.
Yeah.
That is...
Wow.
That sounded incredible. That sounded... I'm amazed by these beautiful birds.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say
I'm
we couldn't
inspired
be amazed.
to go roll, jump, grunt, and snap at my wife later, just to impress her.
You
Let us know how it
lack
works.
the radii in your feathers to make a wing snap, Allan.
Don't you tell me what I can't do, okay?
He can do everything else.
Are you going to generate 9.6 times your force of your body weight in gravity when you jump?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
I don't think I said the words in a
that's
sequence that made sense.
That's gonna damage my house. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm the golden collared mannequin. Sounds like a real winner to me. I don't know. I mean, not. In
Yes,
this
they are a
not
winner.
in this contest. An absolute loser in this contest because that is
The
amazing.
female's into it. It's not that obnoxious.
Yeah, it's not overstimulating to them.
Yeah. Because their bird brains are so fast.
Yeah.
You said it yourself.
Oh no, I think I misunderstood this assignment.
It's like, yeah. No, it's good stuff.
Okay. If I was going with most obnoxious to the female, I would pick the same thing I did for dangerous because that's obnoxious as hell.
I mean, yeah.
Obnoxious is lower stakes than I think.
Yeah.
Well, fine. What do you have?
Mine is also not obnoxious to the female. Because there's
we'll hear you out.
I thought of a lot of obnoxious to the female stuff. I thought of bird ones. Like what's the bird of paradise that's like black and has the blue thing, and he just just blocks her view for who knows how long until she's like, oh my god, go away. Like
I don't think
obnoxious.
that's what's happening.
I think that's what's happening. She never really seems that into it.
What do you know?
I mean, I don't, but she doesn't seem like it. Or like turtles when they do like the flutter thing in front of the female's faces, obnoxious. That was the first thing I thought of. But I didn't do any of those, obviously. I did a bug. And a summer staple across much of the world. The hum or scream of cicadas is hard to ignore and quite obnoxious. Yeah.
I'm already willing to put this one first, but
Thank you.
Let's go on.
I think I'm already willing to admit this is more obnoxious than mannequins.
Thank you. But yeah, for some people, very obnoxious. For others, it's the sign of summer frolicking, and sometimes it brings to mind the incessant heat of the hottest day of the year. To people, it means a lot of things. And I kind of wanted to dive into how they make that noise, just how loud the loudest cicadas are, and how they deal with that noise, because I find that very interesting too.
That's a great point. How did their eardrums not burst?
Right? But yeah, the loudest recorded cicada, which this was like from a paper in the 80s. I don't know why we're not recording cicadas anymore. But anyways, at 8 inches away, the loudest cicada that has been recorded is an African species called Brevisana brevis, and it was recorded at 106.7 decibels. The loudest North American species is Tibetan walkeri, which is a Great Plains species. We have it here in Kansas. It's like one of the most common species in the Great Plains, and it was recorded again at 8 inches away at 105.9 decibels. For context, these songs are as loud as a revving motorcycle. Not like a motorcycle just idling, but a revving motorcycle is the noise that these animals are producing.
An individual.
Yes.
It's impressive.
Yeah. So, because we don't usually hear them up close. Like, yes, they're loud in trees.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's 20, 30 feet away from you. These guys are producing a lot of sound.
Yeah.
There are 2 Australian species that have been recorded, quote, at close range. So therefore scientists are like, they're not actually the loudest because they don't have like how far away it was recorded at.
It's a good impression of scientists, Nicole.
Thank you.
Those nerds.
Yeah. But they have been recorded at close range, reaching 120 decibels, which is like an ambulance siren loudness. And according to the National Institute of Health, prolonged exposure to any sound over 85 decibels
I was going to wonder.
can cause noise-induced hearing loss in humans.
Oh my God.
So and noise-induced hearing loss is like a very squishy term. Like you go to a concert and you have that ringing in your ears. That's technically, hopefully, temporary noise-induced hearing loss. So like if you go outside in summer, you're not going to be deafened immediately by a cicada singing at you, but it is technically loud enough to cause some deafness in humans. And in order for cicadas to avoid, deafening themselves permanently, they loosen their tympana, which is essentially their eardrum. It's the organ they used for hearing. That is automatically loosened as they are singing with their other organs. So it's just kind of loosened so that it's not taking in that sound, essentially, which is wild.
What do you mean loosen?
It's all connected. There's a tendon that is that like normally holds the tympanum like taut like a drum so that it can like take in those sound waves.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's loosened, it's not taking in as much sound.
Oh my gosh, it's like turning off your snare drum.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. Yeah. So
wow.
So hold on. Okay. Because I've never really thought about this. Cicadas, when they're screaming,
Yes.
they're trying to recognize an individual. Is that what that is? Like they're trying to be like, ooh, he's screaming really loud.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So it's like you're trying to pick out of this like cacophony.
Yeah.
Good word.
Yeah. Great word.
With like the one that's like, oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
that dude can scream.
yeah, because it is only the males. This goes across all cicada species. Only the males are the ones that can produce this noise.
Okay.
Females do produce a different kind of noise by flexing their wings. They produce like a clicking noise that is audible to humans. I've never heard it because all the males are screaming too much. But they do make noise. And as they're flying around, they, start clicking towards males that they think are especially sexy and good at singing. And the males in some species, not all, are actually able to switch up their song and be like, yes, I am the sexiest. You're right. Come hither. And if she likes him, she'll keep clicking at him and go and mate with him. Which is wild. And this is all happening with, thousands of insects singing all at once. And this noise is so loud and so obnoxious that it is actually thought to deter predators when they gather in high enough numbers because they're just so loud.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. The females can't be relaxing their tympanum because they have to listen, though.
Yeah.
Like, how are they protected against this?
I'm not sure. I imagine that she can, at least to an extent, like kind of flex it, either have it tight or loose. Because again, it's just like a tendon that's being tightened or loosened. But I don't know for sure how she is navigating this sound. But somehow she's able to. Maybe it has to do with also these insects don't live very long as adults. So maybe it doesn't matter if you go deaf after like a week because you're going to die anyways.
Okay.
But yeah.
Also, I guess their ears work differently from ours because it's just a tympanum. It's not like there's delicate hairs in there that can get destroyed.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Huh.
Also, the male's song, even though to us it just sounds like it's constant, and they all have different songs. Each species has a different song. They like the cicadas in Africa or in Australia do not sound like Kansas cicadas. They can sound really, really weird. But this song is actually a bunch of clicks happening super, super fast. 120 to 480 clicks a second.
Jeez.
So to us, again, in our crappy hearing and our inability to process things quickly, it just sounds like a hum.
Yeah,
but it's actually tons of really fast clicks.
It's like, like 8,000 beats per minute. Yeah. That's pretty fast.
Insane. And insects are good at, again, kind of like birds, they're good at processing things super quickly.
Yeah.
So that might be also part of the reason or how they're able to kind of distinguish individuals, and like the males are able to pick up on the clicking of the females and things like that.
Yeah.
Because her clicks are just like literally like single clicks.
Yeah.
That she's like saying that she's interested. So
That's crazy.
So it's a stridulation, like a body sound. Like what are they like? I guess I actually don't know like how they produce that sound. Like is it just like come from their like abdomen? Like what are they doing?
So it'll echo inside of their abdomen, which is also making it louder.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, it's a bunch of tiny little clicks with their timbal is what the organ is called.
Timbal.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Like a drum set.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to learn more about cicadas, I found a really good website.
Yeah.
It's called cicadamania.com. Their cursor on the website is a cicada. Fantastic.
Adorable.
I think the like slogan is dedicated to the best insect of all time, cicadas. Incredible website. They also have a cicada forecast on there for 2025 in case you're interested.
Oh yeah.
Quote, Australia's phenomenal 2024 season will be continuing. But then magic cicada Brood 14 in the US will also be happening this year. It will not be quite as big as last year's, but it is 17-year cicadas in similar areas, but a bit more northeast than last year's emergence. And the Nanai emergence in Fiji is on an 8-year cycle.
Ooh.
And this cicada is very, important to the people of Fiji, and it's even on their money.
Oh,
Look at him. He's so cute.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
that's nice.
yellow and orange.
Yeah.
Lovely.
But yeah, the Nanai, the Nanai in Fiji. If you look that up, it's on their $100 note is the beautiful cicada.
Yeah, buddy.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Better than Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should have kept that for my fun fact at the end.
Oh,
well.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I had one more cicada question.
Yes.
Are different broods, different brood intervals, different species entirely? Or are they I never thought about how that works.
Yeah, so they will be different species, but there is also research to suggest that different intervals will time themselves to emerge at the same time as other species.
Okay.
Again, to be as loud as possible.
Good God.
And just be obnoxious to avoid being eaten.
Okay.
And just overwhelm predators, both in numbers and in sheer volume.
Sure. Yeah,
strategy.
that's a great strategy. Okay.
Yep.
Dang.
And since they all have different songs, there's no confusion of females getting lost and mating with the wrong, species or something.
Right.
So
Man,
crazy.
I'm compelled to support your claim by pointing out anecdotal stories I've heard of people in Kansas during bad cicada years.
Yeah.
Hearing them over the sound of their lawnmower.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're so loud.
Ooh.
Well done.
That's a worthy offering.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
high
you.
bar.
Yeah. Good stuff. I took I took a different approach to this question.
Oh boy.
And this may be controversial to some bird lovers out there.
Hey.
But my choice for most obnoxious is the emperor penguin.
Oh. Fascinating.
Let me get into why.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I get where you're coming from, I think.
Yeah.
Bird courtships, typically short and sweet,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Typically.
Sometimes.
I mean, often.
Okay.
Preferably very goofy also.
Preferably.
I prefer a goofy.
I prefer goofy for sure.
I
Yeah.
like to see it goofy.
Okay.
Over toads drowning each other. I mean,
Yeah, let's keep it light. Let's keep it fun. You know? Let's get silly. Okay. Now, I feel like that it aligns well with bird copulation, right? Because on average, bird copulation about 8 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a kiss.
Just a cloacal kiss. Just slap them together. Hold your balance. Maybe get a couple in there. And then just fire that protuberance. That's how it's done. It doesn't take long. Okay. Or rather, it usually doesn't. Okay. Emperor penguins, the courtship process for these ridiculous creatures takes up to 2 months. Okay. That is over 5 times longer than their close relative, the king penguin. Possibly because, as an emperor, they have higher status.
yes,
Don't
of course.
need to be on time for anything. So this is only the beginning of why this is dumb. Okay.
Dang.
Because it's so long, this courtship process, they begin their breeding in the early summer months, which is, of course, the start of the Antarctic winter. Okay. All the other seabirds have wrapped up completely by the time that these dorks are getting started, so they have to deal with this courtship in brutally cold polar conditions. Okay. Furthermore, sea ice is at its full extent during the courtship, so they can't eat. They huddle together and fast, okay, for 6 weeks for the female, 4 months for the male, since he's incubating the egg, okay? So this is like...
Wait, So like during the courtship for the next year,
Yes.
they're incubating the eggs from the previous year.
No. They are this whole process.
Okay.
This whole damn process takes them 7 months. Okay. This whole process. All right. Now
Some of it isn't part of the mating ritual, but yes.
the courtship, the bonding part of it takes 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So basically this is like, hey, let's go freeze our asses off for 6 weeks in the coldest place on earth and not eat a damn thing. Okay.
That's just part of their normal life.
This is how they choose to do it. All right. They got to build up fat reserves in the before, when the ocean is at high productivity, because this winter courtship is just frankly interminable. It drags out so long. It takes 7 entire months to get to the point where chicks are ready to fledge, which is at the beginning of the next summer. Okay, so
But are they courting the whole time?
I would argue no.
they
Pair bonding is different from courtship, Allan.
okay. The courtship part again.
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
like, what do they even do?
yeah.
What do they do?
They just huddle together.
There's a lot of huddling. Yeah, because as we said,
Oh, that's so
It's-
obnoxious.
Antarctic winter, you're stuck on the ice, not eating. Your
That's pretty
body is
bad.
eating itself. You're just hanging out. Admittedly, they do some cute things like little bows and little beak kisses. But other than that, you're standing around on the goddamn ice for 2 months.
Why are you saying this like they have a choice?
Every other bird gets this shit done during the summer, okay? Just gets it done.
Yeah.
They're like, it doesn't need this whole... And,
Winter is the best month for cuddling.
oh my gosh. Okay. Look, if you went to go like meet somebody at a party, all right, you're like, I'm going to go on a date. We'll meet somebody at a party. And they're like, well, cool. The party is actually, it's outside. It's like 20 degrees outside. We're actually outside tonight.
That's not a fair comparison.
There's no food.
Birds don't go into houses.
There's no food. And also you can't go home for like,
That is their home.
Couple months. No, it's not their home. They don't have breeding grounds because they just hang out on the ice.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that is
where they
their breeding
live.
ground, technically. If that's where you're
year.
breeding and that's where you're raising your babies, is that not your breeding ground?
No, they have like poor site fidelity and poor mate fidelity because they don't have a breeding ground.
Yeah, because it changes it. This is like
I mean,
feel
that's
like
pretty obnoxious to not know where
erasing
your mate went.
the nomadic lifestyle of these penguins based upon the transience of ice.
Now, I will say it is technically safer for them to do it this way because primary predators are orcas and leopard seals. So they don't have to deal with getting devoured because they're just standing around on ice for months. Okay.
With last year's chicks.
No.
Those chicks fledge because they wait until the start of the entire next summer.
Oh, that's right.
That's when, okay, now ocean productivity is at a peak. It's a great time for a little baby penguin to fledge.
Okay.
In that meantime, in the freezing your ass off part of the year, they're just like feeding, like this sort of like milky penguin juice from the male's beak to the young chick. Yeah.
I feel like you just supported the thing that I said instead of refuting it.
Well, look, I get that it works for them. I get it.
I mean, all of these
It
work
is-
for the animal,
It is
obviously.
objectively terrible, though, to do it this way.
Yeah, it is. I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
No, it works for them. It's a strategy that's sound and makes sense. Like you said, there's no danger.
Yeah.
They don't have any food to eat, but that's just because of how it is.
It's
They
terrible.
didn't choose that.
I think they could have figured out a better way to evolve.
Yeah,
But like, do they have any competition out there? Do they all survive?
Well, no, because like I said,
definitely not. I'm sure.
well,
Yeah,
like
yeah, Well, what are the statistics?
I'm sure, like, yeah. That I have no idea about. This isn't, we're not talking about danger here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you kind of are.
But I said it was nice and safe for them. But yeah, no, the whole chick rearing process takes 8 months for them to get all this done.
Yeah, which is not courtship.
Yeah, but listen to what I'm saying, though. Did you hear what I'm saying?
I'm listening. I'll listen. I'm listening.
This is exhausting.
It's nice that Allan
The
is
argument,
being-
or
Usually it's me that has to deal with this.
You know, every other bird, you get this done in like 3 months.
Yeah.
that's not true.
And you're done.
I mean, that is true, actually. Sorry.
for seabirds, yeah.
But
It's
you
like,
said they
bam.
get it done in like 2 months.
The courtship part. But then they're
The
stuck out there
courtship
for
part
4
takes,
months.
Again, 5 times longer than other penguins. Other penguins are like, man, we don't have time to waste. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, and they gave themselves enough time by giving themselves a head start.
So they are smart.
Yeah, so they were like, you know what? We don't need to hurry this up. We need to find the right partner. We need to bond.
Yeah.
We need to cuddle. When's the
We'll
best time
forget
to
all
do
about
that?
them by next year, but yes.
But
They
for
have-
this year, look, this isn't a situation of monogamy. We're not arguing for how the mate selection.
Sure.
It's the obnoxiousness of the courtship,
Yeah.
and cuddling for like 6 to 8 weeks doesn't. I mean, that's good for them.
Sure. Just slowly, your body condition slowly deteriorating.
Yeah, it's
while
like
you
trauma
huddle-
bonding.
While you huddle together, hoping not to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great way to get really close with your partner.
Yeah. Did you know that extreme winter weather is actually also a huge cause of egg mortality for these birds? Because guess what?
But technically, that is not part of the courtship. As soon as we have eggs, that doesn't matter anymore. But yes, it is. It's horrific conditions.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
terrible conditions.
Yeah.
They just in the initial pass of the egg from the female to the male, because the conditions are so bad, the egg can often die. It breaks. Because they decided not to do this at the wrong time of year from every other seabird. It's very obnoxious. I will hear no
bad.
arguments against it.
It's pretty bad.
All right, I've said my piece.
All right, thanks, Allan.
It is very cute though. They do little bows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little, and then she's like, and then it's kind of, and then their beaks touch, and they're like,
Incredible.
that's very sweet. If only they could just be a little better with their timing.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
I understand. So we're agreed that that's last place, right?
I still think Mannequin's last place.
Mannequin's last place. Mannequin was awesome.
Well, so like we weren't talking about like what is the most stupid courtship. We were talking about what's the most obnoxious courtship.
Yeah, and then you proceeded to describe one of the coolest courtships I've ever heard of.
Yeah, and
So-
it's obnoxious. It can be both of those things.
But I
think
don't think it's really obnoxious to anyone else or to the female.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot. Would it be obnoxious if someone did that to me? Absolutely. But I'm not a mannequin.
Well, and this is going on for a long time. And you have to remember that there are sometimes up to 20 males with dance courts that they've constructed in one little segment, like all together. So there's like 20 males doing this dance. God knows how many females jumping in to duet with them, trading partners. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Maybe overstimulating to the human observer, but to the mannequin, it's like a symphony.
And for penguins, no penguin is saying, wow, this is such an obnoxious courtship. They're saying
I can't imagine they like it. There's no way they like freezing their little tootsies off. It's what has to be done.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they like it.
understand
Have you
how
ever
the
seen-
environmental conditions of their courtship ritual
Yeah.
makes the entire courtship obnoxious.
I'm going to assume the penguins are miserable, yes.
Yeah. Have you ever
I have
seen
no
like,
data to support that.
they're always
but I'm
like little
going to assume.
squinty eyes and they just like
Yeah.
they don't look comfortable.
How they survive. That's like their mechanism for this is bullshit.
Yeah.
There's nothing obnoxious about it. They time it early. It probably is like not the best condition, but like that's just
Sure.
their life. That's just normal for them.
That's right. And just don't eat for 4 months, you know.
Is that obnoxious though? Or is that just
That's kind
a
of
little
obnoxious.
masochistic?
I think that's a little, I think it's, it's rough. I think it's rough. Yeah.
So not obnoxious.
I think it's obnoxious.
Unless you
personally
count all of the PDA. Why am I making arguments for your dumb argument to make it make more sense?
I think Rachel's just salty about being in third place this time.
Yeah.
I think
I got
there's
one win.
I think there's a clear winner here. And
Yeah, obviously it's the cicada.
I think it's Nicole. Yeah.
Thanks.
It's
Well
not
done.
only annoying, it's annoying to every other living thing with ears.
Yes.
Even the cicadas, they don't even want to hear it.
That's true. They check out. They're like, I can't deal with what I'm about to do, but here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a clear win. An excellent choice, Nicole.
Thank you.
Well done.
I thought for sure you guys would get mad at me because I was talking about how annoying it is to people, but it's annoying to like literally everything.
Right.
Yeah.
This confuses predators and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, No, like, yeah. Have you ever seen like a cat catch a cicada and the cicada starts freaking out?
Uh-huh.
And even the cat's like, I don't know if this
Never
is worth
mind.
it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So cicadas first place, mannequins second place, as they
Well.
assault multiple
The
senses with such fast-paced maneuvers that it requires like your full concentration and attention and multiple stages of dancing and like forces of gravity that a bird of that size should not be able to exert in order to complete this courtship ritual. Like they're locked in because there's so much to take in from multiple facets, visual, auditory, vibrations, the court itself that's been constructed. It's an assault on the senses
Okay.
in a way that the females find extremely pleasurable because they have really good brains.
Okay. Let me make you an offer. At the time of
Joint
this
second
recording,
place?
at the time of this recording, it's about 5 degrees outside.
Okay.
That's an exaggeration, but yeah.
I think it's probably that cold. Okay. Your options are Nicole and I can grunt, snap, and jump at you for 10 minutes, or you can go stand outside for 8 hours and skip lunch and dinner. Which are you taking?
And we'll cuddle while we do it. But
But here's the thing. If I say that I'd rather watch you guys grunt and snap, maybe it's for the entertainment purposes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The female loves it.
Yeah, now you're thinking like a mannequin.
Yeah.
But is that obnoxious? Is it obnoxious to stand outside in the cold and cuddle?
yes.
I don't think that's obnoxious. I think
it's
that's
not
kind
the-
of sweet.
It's not the animal being obnoxious with the penguins, for sure.
And they have no other choice.
I'm honestly torn.
I think I'm second place.
No,
I think
no,
we
no,
can
no,
lock
no,
me
no,
in
no,
there.
no, no,
I think
no,
we got
no,
it.
no, no, no,
I think we got it.
It's just so obnoxious that they just stand around and touch beaks for 6 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
I hate love. That's what you're saying. That's your
Wow,
argument. I hate
okay.
love and I hate the cold. Neither of which is true, Alan. So
This
why
is
did you come at
true.
us like this?
That's true.
Yeah,
I do
that
like
is-
love and the cold. I'm really an emperor penguin at heart, but you know.
Yeah, you saying that cold is obnoxious is the twist that I was not expecting,
Yeah.
for sure.
You're right. This would
Is
work.
Alan just mad that he can't have that kind of love?
Oh,
I mean, yeah, my wife does not like being cold. No. But no.
So you're not going to
Yeah.
be able to starve with your life partner
Yeah.
for 4 months out in the snow.
I don't think either of us would appreciate that.
But you're a person.
Yeah.
And for those penguins,
Yeah.
that's what makes the most sense.
yeah, for the mannequins, that's what makes the most sense.
I feel like
So-
we're going around
And it's
circles
obnoxious.
here. We're going around
We
in
are.
circles, gang. All right, we're locking it in. Me too. Rachel
No.
3. Thank you for listening.
I will allow a tie for second place.
All right. Tie for second place
And
with
if
an
you
asterisk by Rachel.
think that that's really stupid and that the mannequin should be second place, just send us a message. Thank you.
Oh. Well, this is a lovely exercise.
Yeah.
An important scientific discussion for great minds to process.
Yeah. Do we need some brain bleach? Because I think we could all probably go around the circle and list 3 really wholesome reasons why emperor penguins are not obnoxious, just to bleach our minds.
Damn.
Oh, boy. Just so upset.
That's pretty wholesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know if I have a brain bleach, but I do have, I guess since this is our first episode, I think we've got some really fun things coming up. This was an episode that went from real dark to real silly. And I think we're going to cover that same spectrum throughout the next 9 episodes. And I hope you guys will join us. Yeah. We got some good stuff planned for you. So
buckle up.
We got some drugs. We got some gross stuff. It's gonna be good.
It's true. Yeah.
We've got some gender studies. Just kidding. Gender studies is human stuff. We have some sex. Wait, hang on.
Wow.
Sex studies. That's, anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Filthy Animals. This podcast is produced by the nonprofit Grassland Groupies to spread scientific literacy in the interest of preserving our favorite natural resources. Send us mail at 4925 South Broadway, number 69, Wichita, Kansas, 67216. Other social media and contact info is in the notes. And thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.